Welcome back to USA Car Reviews, the channel where we dive deep into the world of classic American cars, muscle icons, and reborn legends that continue to define automotive history. Today, we are talking about one of the most underrated but highly respected machines of the golden muscle car era, a car that blended luxury and performance in a way that few others could match, the new 1967 Buick GS. This car stood as a symbol of what Buick could achieve when they decided to mix refinement with raw American muscle. The GS, or Grand Sport, was Buick's answer to the muscle car craze, but it wasn't just about straight-line power. It was about creating an experience, a car that not only went fast but looked sharp and carried itself with a certain class that separated it from the rest. The 1967 Buick GS was part of a muscle car movement that had truly taken off by the mid-60s. Ford had the Mustang, Chevrolet had the Camaro and the Chevelle SS, Pontiac was dominating with the GTO, and Dodge was pushing power with the Charger and Coronet. Buick, often seen as the more refined and luxury-oriented brand, wasn't going to sit back and let the others take all the glory. They brought out the GS, a machine that gave customers the performance of a muscle car without sacrificing the comfort and refinement they had come to expect from Buick. In other words, the GS gave drivers the best of both worlds. When you first look at the 1967 Buick GS, you are immediately struck by its styling. It carried a bold, muscular stance with clean lines and a presence that was unmistakably Buick. The front end featured a wide grille with quad headlights, giving it an aggressive yet sophisticated look. The chrome bumpers wrapped around with precision, and the hood scoops hinted at the performance hiding underneath. Along the sides, you had sleek body lines that flowed into a strong rear section with sharp taillights and a wide stance that made it look powerful even at a standstill. This was a car that turned heads wherever it went, not because it was flashy, but because it had an elegance combined with muscle that demanded respect. Under the hood is where the Buick GS truly came alive. The 1967 GS 400, as it was officially known, packed a 400 cubic inch V8 engine that delivered an impressive 340 horsepower and 440 pound-feet of torque. This wasn't just about numbers, though. Buick engineered this engine to provide massive low-end torque, meaning it could launch off the line with authority and deliver smooth, effortless acceleration at virtually any speed. That torque-heavy power band made the GS feel different compared to some of the high-revving competitors. It wasn't just fast, it was commanding, with the kind of power that pushed you back into the seat the moment you tapped the gas pedal. Performance-wise, the GS could hold its own against the biggest names in the muscle car game. 0 to 60 times landed in the 6-second range, which was very respectable for the era, and the quarter mile could be conquered in the mid-14-second range. But again, what set the GS apart was not just the raw numbers, but the way it delivered that performance. The ride quality was smoother, more controlled, and less punishing than some of the other muscle cars, making it a car you could comfortably drive every day without feeling like you were sacrificing comfort for speed. The interior of the 1967 Buick GS was another area where this car stood out. Step inside and you were greeted with a cabin that had the kind of fit and finish expected from a Buick. Plush bucket seats, detailed stitching, chrome accents, and a dashboard that combined functionality with style. The steering wheel carried the Buick emblem proudly, the gauges were clear and precise, and everything felt a step above the typical muscle car interiors of the time. It was clear that Buick wasn't just aiming for raw performance, they wanted to give drivers a complete package that delivered both comfort and excitement. Driving the GS was an experience that left a lasting impression. The car handled with confidence, thanks to a strong suspension setup that balanced performance and ride quality. It wasn't a lightweight car by any means, tipping the scales at over 3,800 pounds, but the way it carried that weight gave it a solid, planted feel on the road. The power steering was smooth, the brakes were strong for the era, and the overall driving dynamics made it feel like a car that could eat up the miles on a long highway cruise or take on the stoplight battles in town with equal ease. One of the more unique aspects of the Buick GS was the way it appealed to a slightly different audience compared to the other muscle cars. While many muscle machines of the 60s were marketed toward younger drivers who wanted speed at a budget price, the GS appealed to buyers who wanted muscle but also valued sophistication and a touch of class. This meant the GS wasn't always the first car mentioned in muscle car conversations, but it earned a loyal following of enthusiasts who understood and appreciated what it brought to the table. Today, the 1967 Buick GS holds a special place in the hearts of collectors and muscle car fans. It represents a different approach to the muscle car formula, one that didn't compromise on luxury while still delivering thrilling performance. Finding one in good condition is a treasure, and restored examples are admired not just for their performance but for their unique identity in the muscle car world. It's a reminder that Buick, often seen as the brand for comfort and refinement, could also build a machine that would go toe-to-toe with the biggest names of the muscle era. In conclusion, the 1967 Buick GS is more than just a classic car, it's a statement. It's a piece of American automotive history that blended style, performance, and refinement in a way that few cars could. From its muscular V8 engine to its elegant interior, from its bold stance to its smooth ride, the GS was proof that Buick could play in the muscle car game and play to win. It may not have had the same spotlight as the GTO or the Chevelle, but it carved out its own legacy, one built on class and power working hand in hand. This has been USA Car Reviews, bringing you a closer look at one of the most iconic and underrated muscle cars of the 60s, the 1967 Buick GS. If you enjoyed this deep dive into classic American muscle, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content on the legends that shaped our roads and our culture. The Buick GS deserves to be remembered, and here at USA Car Reviews, we make sure it always will be.